Okay, my channel has videos on Santa Fe repairs and Santa Fe problems. And recently I had done a video on how to avoid getting oil on your alternator on a Santa Fe 2007. My issue was that the gasket on the valve cover constantly leaks. And you get it fixed, it lasts for about a year, maybe 2 years, and then you get more leaking. And then when you bring your car in for service, they tell you, hey, there's oil leaking and we need to replace your valve cover gasket. And also, it's going to affect your alternator at some point if we don't do that. Well, recently they came out with a new campaign, Hyundai campaign number 976, which is basically a recall on 2007 to 2009 Hyundai Santa Fe's that have a leaking oil gasket that can affect the alternator. And you'll get one of these service campaigns in the mail if you own a Hyundai. They'll give you the website to check if your VIN number is one of the affected vehicles. I show that here. So check your vehicle to make sure it's affected. It doesn't matter what age or how old your vehicle is. This is another recall. I could have sworn they had recalls on this before, but they're doing it again. This latest recall came out in September 2023, and I received these two pieces of paper in the mail. Here's the second one. It says Hyundai is conducting a service campaign to inspect the cylinder head cover, perform an alternator voltage test, and install an oil protector on certain 2007 to 2009 model year Santa Fe vehicles. So if you got one of those years, you might want to check this website out and see if your VIN is on there, because you'll get some work done for free. And believe me, you want to get this work done. So I had them perform this service, and I got my car back, and I want to show you what they did. Basically, what they did is replace the valve cover gasket, and it appears to me they put a bunch of gasket sealant on the outside of the valve cover. That I don't think this is an appropriate repair. If this is the protector they're talking about, it's kind of confusing. See, I did a repair prior to this, and I basically put some metal over my alternator to block the oil from getting in the alternator, and I know it worked because I seen oil not getting in the alternator. But what they're doing as a protector is it looks like they put a gob of gasket sealer on the outside of the valve cover, besides putting the new oil gasket, which it needed. But I don't think that's a good fix. If you want to see a good fix, look at my last video where I'll put a link into it in this video. And you should really look into that video because it tells you how I put metal over my alternator so that the oil does not get in anymore. Granted, this is a 16-year-old car. It's got over 200,000 miles. But what they did appears to be kind of flimsy, I think. I don't know. I thought they were going to put a piece of metal on there. It's like I did. Now, I have a picture here of what I had done prior to the service by Hyundai. I had put a piece of light aluminum with black gasket adhesive onto my alternator that I had, basically covering the top of the alternator and the left side a little bit with metal, so that anything that leaks out of the valve cover gasket would slide down that metal and that sealant and stay away from the alternator. Because the alternator has these slots in it, and I'll show you on a close-up here. You see those slots on the right? The oil doesn't get to that side. It leaks more on the left side. So you could actually see where some of the oil leaked down with, what is it called, bronze. The bronze color is actually oil that had dripped prior to the Hyundai service. Now I'm thinking the Hyundai service might last a year or two, and then it's going to leak again. So I'm keeping my little metal material here, my sealant, from going into the alternator. Hopefully that will avoid the alternator from burning up. I have a video on that. I'm going to show you another link to it. You should go see that video on how I repair oil leaking on the alternator on a Santa Fe. Basically, this is insurance that if that thing ever leaks again, it's not going to get onto the alternator. Now, I don't have the fins covered that much. I'm letting airflow still get in there. I'm just making sure if there's any oil leaks, it's going to leak and go down this little ramp that I made and avoid getting into the alternator. And overall, I think that's the way to go on this repair. I'm glad they did the gasket repair because it really needed it, but I'm not going to do a gasket repair again in a year or two because of this. So here I'm showing you the receipt I got from Hyundai after I had the repair done. Basically, the recall says the cylinder head cover oil leak repair with oil protection installed. An alternator voltage test. Campaign 976. Now, I don't know what kind of oil protector they used. Some gasket material on the outside or something. I don't know. They put the gasket material on the left side, but it's actually leaking from the front. So I don't think the gasket material they put on the outside of the oil valve cover does anything. You seen what I did? I have a video on how to do it. You really should go see that video if you're going to keep this car any length of time. It's been a good car. It's 16 years old. It's been still running great. It drives so good even 16 years old. But this gasket problem is a problem it's had since I've had it. And I don't think the service is going to fix it. But get the service done regardless. Make sure your alternator is working properly. And look at my video. I have a video on how to fix oil leaking on an alternator on a Santa Fe or something like that. It's in my channel if you want to go look. I think it was the last video I did or one of the last, and it'll tell you how I did it. And I think it's totally safe. It doesn't look pretty. You've seen the picture. It looks kind of ugly, but I think for sure it works because I've seen oil drip down that ramp that I made with the aluminum in the past. So it's going to stop the alternator from getting leaks on it. I'm pretty sure of that. So good luck here.